This week on Hermitcraft.
Iskal, did you turn off that moon magnet from a couple seasons ago? Iskal, the moon magnet! Did you turn it off or not? Victor, did you turn it off?
Welcome to the Hermitcraft RECAP, where every so often we get to report on the end of the world. My name is PixelRiffs, our writer is LoyXP, and by now, hopefully, you're aware that this week brought us the season finale of Hermitcraft Season 8. If that's news to you, then we're happy to have delivered it to you, but we highly encourage you to go and watch the final episodes of any and all Hermits you possibly can, because this was the big one. The resolution of the Moon arc, the unpacking of a truckload of story, and the end of Hermitcraft's shortest season to date. Seriously, it feels like just yesterday the Moon was a normal size. Now, there's a lot of things to admire about the season finale. The cool final animation by Element Animation is stellar, or at least interplanetary. The music by Jono is fantastic, and the extra bits of fancy every Hermit added to their own finales are very welcome. Which, yes, this server-wide season finale should be admired, specifically for giving every Hermit their own unique way of dealing with the ensuing Moonpocalypse, and their own point at which they ultimately arrive, setting up the beginning of the next season as something very interesting, if even half the established plot points are ever followed up on. We should also note that while not all the Hermits who participated in this season have released a finale, therefore a couple of them won't appear in this recap, that doesn't mean that we or the other Hermits have left them behind, just that we're awaiting cinematic confirmation of how they escaped, which might just be their first episode of Season 9. However, here at the recap, we promise you a faithful recounting of the server's final moments with a pinch of sass sprinkled in, so let's get to it and leave the patting on the back to the loving fanbase who should be going crazy in their favourite Hermit's comments right now. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, get to it. Starting with False Symmetry and the community meeting she attends, where the Hermits once again evaluate the situation, check on if everyone's alive for now, and then split to pursue their own ways of evacuating the world.
You don't think that we should get leaving as well? I think these blocks, this is like, I think they're smarter than us. This isn't the Moon pulling them up, they're deciding to leave.
In the case of False and GeminiTay though, there isn't any. The two ladies have mutually agreed to just wait out the skyfall in the bunker they made under the swamp lump. The meetup, however, has instilled enough anxiety in both of them that False sneaks out while Gem's not there and takes her Space Eagle to where the Moon can't harm them.
Things leaving. We gotta get out of here. Right, let's get going, Eagle. We are leaving right now. Even the world can't handle it. We're out of here.
While this may not be a surefire way to escape the situation, she can at least have the peace of mind that the Stress Monster armor stand is safe and sound in the underground. Because GeminiTay sure isn't. While False packs her things and sneaks out the back, it turns out so does Gem.
How am I meant to live, laugh, love in these conditions?
Her plan B is to saddle up the giant reindeer statue and leave her base in the capable hooves of Cow the Ravager, and we all know how that went.
You can handle a moon fight, right? Cow looks like they're ready to handle a moon fight.
Cow, you had one job. The reindeer games don't go too well either, unfortunately, as being made of blocks, the pack animal is also quickly disassembled by moon gravity. Out of options, and hoping to leave Armorstand Stress with as many spare rations as she can, Gem remorsefully steps into the nether portal and hopes to wait out the big splodey in another dimension. Good thing she'll have company in there at least, the Derp Empire company in particular. Yes, at the end of the world, betrayed by evil Azuma, regular Azuma, now the most regular he's been in years, escapes to the nether, which itself is pretty funny since it means he and Evil X have effectively traded places.
And out here I see no signs of blocks rising, there's no rumbling, and of course there's no moon and sun.
That might not have been the brightest idea on Evil's part though. Having brought all his riches to wherever it is he hangs out, Evil Azuma is struck with a realization that the moon is falling there too, and then is also struck with the moon. Turns out no amount of diamonds can bribe physics not to happen. Anyhow, Azuma is in the nether playing modded in the meantime. Or is he? Because in Wells Knight's video, Wells and Azuma agree to wait out the impending doom in the end instead, and it makes sense that with impending doom, Wells would want the Doom guy on his side.
Well, I guess this is our fate then.
Potentially for all eternity.
Give him a hug, don't make eye contact.
Ignore
remain
farm.
Socially awkward.
Social distance from the Enderman.
Now, Wells' video is mostly him showcasing the creative plans he had for his floating island base, that he could still follow up on because while the landmass is now probably flattened, the guy still has the blueprints. Still, respawning into Satisfactory didn't work, and then trying to portal to the Ether didn't work either, so Wells ultimately flies in the face of the No Wings initiative, builds himself a space shuttle, and blasts off before the rest of the world is blasted. Meaning neither he nor Azuma actually stayed in the end. And good for them. Imagine being stuck in there alone with but a few items to your name and no one but Enderman to talk to. Anyway, let's check in with Zombie Cleo and... Oh no. Luckily for her, Ijevin at least sold her the right kind of footwear at the last minute.
I mean, I've got netherite feather falling foreboots. These are better, is what you're telling me.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Now, we don't really know which of the villagers in his last-minute crop farm has convinced Jevin that these work, but to capitalise on the panic engulfing the server, Jevin visits a few hermits to try and sell them a pair of protective footwear, and also check in on their escape plans.
You definitely don't need to read that at all. No.
Will not replace if lost or stolen. Okay,
Yeah,
I don't need to read any of this.
No.
I think you sit on a front. You know what you sound like? You sound like a used car salesman at this stage. But I love the boots, though.
Not relying on brand shoes alone either, he packs his many riches onto a slime block machine and is last seen trying to leave the planet with them. Naturally, the machine is only going directly up, so towards the falling planetoid. All I'm saying is if next season there's 4 smaller Ijevins, we know how that happened. Joe Hills doesn't want anyone to panic, so he's been outfitting the foundation of the castle with a Zen garden. But Cub fans' doomsday paintings are effective at getting him to consider a plan B, so he visits off-world escapes with the intention of at least securing some futures for his stockbroken horse Diamond Hooves.
We haven't actually dealt with the fact that I'm pretty sure Scar is trying to turn the moon into his new largest hat. I might not get a chance to confront him about it.
Having spent the entire season playing without an Elytra, Joe's final business on the server is claiming a well-earned, if formerly display-only, No Wings Club medal for 1,000 days without flying. Moon-assisted anti-gravity doesn't count, of course, and it's not a moment too soon, because Joe's approach to leaving the world seems to have been to don an Elytra, grab some fireworks, and rocket spam his way out of there as fast as possible, hopefully reaching exit velocity somewhere along the way.
I've got this No Wings Club medal finally I stole from Mystical's house, so it feels kind of hypocritical to just fly away, but...
The heartfelt goodbye with Zombie Cleo already caused some fans to Photoshop him into her season finale.
You're
I don't
welcome
know.
to come with me, but...
It might be
I've
time.
got a plan. I mean, you'll always turn up. You always do.
Don't worry about me, Cleo.
Okay.
I'm good. You go.
All right. I'll see you next time, Joe.
Yep.
Bye.
Keep adventuring.
A lonelier fate yet awaits TangoTek, last seen on the moon with his horse Adequate, heckled on by his ground control computer Holston.
To shine. Let's go back to these death bunnies and...
As the asteroids start hitting the moon, the cavalry of one makes its way to a crater of highly explosive moon crystals, surrounded by highly aggressive moon rabbits.
It seems the moon bunnies have evolved into a predator species.
Killer bunnies, Holston! Of all the horrible ways I expected to die on this ridiculous, doomed voyage...
The patently bonkers plot continues as Tango grows some carrots he happened to have to lure away the beasts, and successfully plants most of the explosives at the site. However, a rogue bunny still makes its way to the pressure plate and blasts Tango off planet, as well as himself to smithereens. Here's hoping they collide somewhere with another rocket-propelled hermit from the finale. You see, while Cubfan was mostly on board with the Mooners' plan, taking a nap knocked his scientific side right back into the guy, and while he's been willing to convince Scar about the skull-painting prophecy or open a video with an alliterative poem dedicated to the moon, his well-rested self couldn't get off the planet fast enough.
The prophecy is real, there's no point in being a Mooner anymore. I gotta do it. Ah, that feels better, that feels better.
Luckily, the cow launcher from a couple videos ago is still there and doesn't really care what kind of animal it's sending beyond the stratosphere. We actually even know for sure it works, because in his moon travels, Tango finds one of the cows Cub launched. Then again, it could mean that Cub only flew up to the moon, not around it as he planned.
I'm gonna hit this button, run over to the llama, and then we're gonna be shot off the planet. So here we go. Alright, come on, llama. Let's go. Let's go! Off planet! Here we go!
Either way, it goes better than Keralis' plan, but more on that later. First, we have to consider the plan A he and XBcrafted went for. XB isn't quite happy with the, modifications Keralis has left around the bunker.
When I was building that, I didn't have a bedroom, so I was using your bedroom and toilet. So, please.
And while he's happy to have a plan B on deck with an open invitation to the space station, the loose firing pin in the launch mechanism leaves him dubious about the whole operation.
You flip the switch over here, and look at this. This opens up. Okay.
I feel like there's a couple things I noticed.
So with everyone going their separate ways, XB trusts in the technology of his bunker to keep him safe. What could possibly go wrong? The answer to that is Keralis' TNT launch. With not enough propellant or not nearly enough physics, Keralis finds himself trapped in the spacesuit under the falling satellites, both the natural and the man-made ones. The only solace is he isn't alone in his fate.
You can do it, Bubbles! Okay. Oh no, bless his little heart. He's never seen knights. That's gonna be proper scary. Look at him go. What a hero. Ooh, bad. Ooh, no.
Perhaps surprisingly, one hermit who remains grounded throughout all of this is BOO. Not because he's behaving rationally, in fact, quite the opposite. He decides the impending moonfall will not be quite as impactful as having finally turned a profit at the Big Eyes shopping district. In fact, touring the server to see how the apocalypse is treating everyone else, he realizes that if they're all moving on, not only has the Big Eyes crew outlasted all the competition, but he can technically claim everything on the server for himself.
Octagon's leaving, Boredom's leaving, last man standing.
That includes claiming the world record time on his and Etho's ill-fated racecourse minigame, which he does in the last few minutes before the moon smacks him right between the eyes.
I love you to death and we'll see you in the next episode.
But here's a thought that might knock you over the head. A few seasons back, B-Dubs was slowly being overgrown by jungle vines, and we made a joke that he was doing it for the vine. Well, after carrying around a growing stack of clocks that matched his episode number every single episode, we can safely assume he found a home on TikTok. As time runs out, the Botum crew all seem to reach the conclusion that they need their beauty sleep. At this point, Impulse SV hasn't slept in so long, he started to look like vintage beef did last time we saw him. Well, whoever Impulse is leaving the chocolate factory to had better have some good ideas, because the blocks aren't coming back down anymore. Luckily for Impulse, Timmy the Magic Pig is around to pack a blueprint of the factory into a shulker box, so at least he can make a model version of it elsewhere.
Shrink it down, and put it in this shulker box, right there. Whoa!
The big question is who will pack Timmy into a box that'll save him from the moonfall? The answer is Pearlescent Moon, who, even with the world ending around her, won't stop doing cool stuff for animals. Making cushy corners for them in her castle interior for one, and signing up her pet cat Nugget to be rocketed off the world along with Joe Hills' horse and anyone else who could afford a ticket. But to make sure her animals have the best chance of outlasting the apocalypse, she builds an incredibly cozy looking bunker for the remaining critters in the nether, and manages to coax Timmy the Magic Pig in there as well.
Right, I have you all in there. You are going to be fantastic. You are going to survive. Thank you. Okay, you're going to get out. Okay.
The favourites, however, are much more secure, because in the event of global catastrophe, Good Times with Scar figured a way to skim some final diamonds off of everyone who doesn't want their pets to perish. With the moon on the approach, Scar puts together an off-world travel agency and begins accepting passengers, be they animal or person. The menagerie of animals and possessions is put into the rocket, which to everyone's visible concern is faced downwards into the ground, the plan seemingly being to run directly away from the moon, right through the Botum hole and into the void beyond.
It took so long to get all that copper.
He's coming.
Oh, well, hello there, everyone.
Hello there.
Is amazing. Are we all hanging around the Barbie, guys?
Still, most of the Botum puts their trust in Scar's expertise, and you might as well, since your corpse won't be able to demand the money back.
Scar, I don't know why we're crash dummies. I don't like the sound. I don't like the look of this at all.
These are official first-class swaggin' spacesuits. Have a little respect. Just think about how much this cost you, Grant. Come on now.
Yeah, it cost me everything I have.
Though before they depart, there might be a final hurrah to be had, and so we turn the page over to Mumbo Jumbo. Mumbo's peace, love, and plants philosophy lasted the entire season, but upon realizing the moon isn't a plant, he declares war on it, which, yes, means the cult of the Mooners is done pretty quickly.
Like, not sleeping was a really bad move. We totally shouldn't have done that. It was terrible. Well, if love doesn't work, then you should at least try making war. Why do these things have to be mutually exclusive? What if I love making war?
but as we've seen, the missiles don't quite reach their target.
But you might have... Yeah, we have killed the wrong moon. Mumbo, I think you might miss this moon, buddy.
Am I gonna miss the moon? Pearls died! Look, we killed the moon! Sort of.
And despite Scar dying in the middle of explaining his escape plan, Mumbo still puts his trust in the Swagoneer to take them all to safety. So Mumbo takes one last look around at Botum, and along with him marveling at everything he's done, we marvel at how he accomplished it all without managing to kill anything. And as they're falling down into the void in their last moments before they reach the world between worlds, Mumbo's life on Season 8 flashes before his eyes. And maybe, just maybe, he high-fives Grian a little harder than he planned.
It's been fun.
High five for old time's sake.
I still can't quite believe he just did that.
His own deeds flashing before his eyes, Grian will at least see his Midnight Alley finished and filled with the builds of his friends and fans alike.
And I've got to say, it's a massive, massive relief to see this all complete with no empty shops. I've been in a few seasons of Hermitcraft, and I don't think I've ever felt like a base is as complete as this in season...
Rest in peace, Grian. You sure need some of that when your so sleep-deprived villagers are talking English. Then again, perhaps this whole Hermitcraft debacle is really just a matter of perception. After all, sometimes, against your best guesses, there simply is no spoon. We last saw Doc M77 and Rendog completing a killing spree on the orders of a mysterious moonrock, obtaining the heads of 8 hermits, and Doc completing assembly of a final altar on which these heads could reasonably be placed. With the help of the community, they put 2 and 2 together. A thunderstorm summons a now familiar torrent of lightning, creating a void of light that the pair jump into. But things are not what they seem, and might not have been for quite some time. Their Hermatrix arc concludes with an arc ship, travelling through outer space already en route to the new world, and the revelation that in Doc and Ren's reality, Season 8 was simulated to keep the minds of the hermits safe from some kind of parasitic mind virus.
I really don't like the sound of that, man. Initiating wakeup.exe. Let's hope for the best, man.
Good morning, hermits. Welcome back to reality.
We sent them schematics for all the antiviruses and whatnot. Every block was perfect, man.
The blueprints, builds, and clues the hive mind created and discovered along the way were all part of the cure. And in their post-credits scene, we see landmark builds from previous seasons of Hermitcraft preserved in the different modules of the ship, hinting that this may not be the first time they've done this. They may also not be alone.
Well, we seem to have it all under control now, Operator Goatman. The Moonatrix protocol cleared up that infection like nobody's business, man.
Indeed, my friend, indeed. Let's get these hermits to Season 9.
Or they may also just be back in ZF's Psych Experiment Lab, answering the what if there was a moon falling question. It is our captioner's headcanon that the whole simulation facility is just part of ZF's lab. Or maybe Zed's lab is on the ship, making sure everyone's still themselves when they're unplugged from the Hermatrix, and those concepts are just too funny not to tell you about. It's why there's an inflatable Santa in the pod instead of ZF. It all makes sense, people. Fan works aside, ZF finishes his season with a run through every single experiment his lab has created up until now, in a literal sense, in the case of the labyrinth, which Zed attempts to speedrun just to show the Endermite who's the boss here.
Everywhere looks the same in the maze. How well we did. Oh my goodness, mate, this place needs a clean.
And with the last parts of the Combruta's exposed redstone being covered up, the moon finally hits the surface and all of it is supposedly demolished. And that's about it for this season's recaps. Our writer is LoyXP and my name is PixelRiffs. Captions and incredible ZF headcanons were provided by Liara. If you've enjoyed the recap half as much as we have this season, we'll once again encourage you to check out as many hermits as possible, both because they deserve it and because you deserve to know how much footage we end up watching every week. If you want to pat us on the back for that, each of us have our own YouTube channels which you can check out in the end screen. But once Hermitcraft returns for Season 9, it's quite likely that we will as well. So until then, brave intergalactic travelers, have fun out there in the void. Don't forget to leave a like before the moon falls on us too, and subscribe so you won't miss future recaps. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next season.